Short horror stories found on the internet. An old couple in the town of Ulthar finds pleasure in mercilessly killing any cats that enter their property. The other residents of the town do not speak up against the evil acts but try to keep their felines away from the couple's property. One night, some travelers pass through this town, and among them is an orphan boy who has nobody, but only a kitten. The kitten goes missing after a couple of days, and he comes to know about the old couple. The little boy focuses all his energies and unleashes a prayer which affects the sky and the movements of clouds. The travelers leave Ulthar, and the people notice that all their cats have gone missing. People are worried, but have no clue about the whereabouts of their cats. The cats return on the following day and seem well fed. But the old couple has vanished. When the people explore the property, they find the skeletons of two humans, which have been picked clean. My family home used to be a funeral home. It's over 100 years old, and I'm pretty certain it's haunted. I used to have sleep paralysis sometimes when I would come home on breaks from college, where I would wake up unable to move and could see a pale figure of a girl with a dark headband standing next to my bed. She always faced the window, so I never saw her face. But man, it's terrifying. My dog would also sleep in my bed and wake up in the middle of the night to bark at the dark corner in my room and stuff like that. After I had sleep paralysis, I spent the rest of the Christmas break sleeping in my mom's bed with her. The Ghost Marvin, from Jamie. My family had a ghost named Marvin. When I was away at college, my dad moved into a new house, and he and my sister immediately declared it was haunted. I remember my sister texting me throughout the semester, wide awake at 4 a.m., because she was freaked out. She and my dad named him Marvin as a joke, but it kind of stuck. Marvin was actually pretty polite. He would turn off the lights when we left them on. I remember my dad and sister Skyping me, explaining the weird things that would happen. They would be watching a movie, and Marvin would turn off the lights of the hallway and bathroom lights if they were left on. Sometimes he'd turn them back on, though doing this multiple times throughout the movie or show. These lights weren't on a timer, and they were the kind that you would have to push hard to turn on and off. My family decided it wasn't an electrical circuit malfunction because every time a Marvin would turn off the lights, you would hear the click as if someone has pushed the switch down. While I was home alone one day during the summer, I was pulling my hair into a ponytail in front of the front door mirror. Suddenly I heard a man's voice say clearly in my ear, "Hello." I whipped around and no one was there. I was really freaked out, so I went for a run just to be out of the house and waited until my dad got home from lunch. We eventually moved and said goodbye to Marvin. I'm pretty sure he's still there. The Rural Home's Dark Secrets. I grew up in a very old home in rural Wisconsin. It was over 100 years old when we moved in. The original structure was added onto throughout the years before we moved in. It was originally a one-room house. When I was little, My brother Dylan and I would always see and hear weird things. As an adult, we remember them vividly. But when we were kids, we'd brush it off. Our parents would say we were imagining things. One time, Dylan went up to our mom's room to grab something for her and turned around to see a little boy standing in the doorway of our shared room. The right side was always particularly creepy, and it was a renovated attic. And when I was a kid, in the same room, I would see my Barbies moving on the top of my flat dollhouse. My mom had friends stay over one night, and one stayed on our couch. He woke up in the middle of the night to someone choking him and was like, "There's something here and I need to leave," and bolted. The real clincher is that when I was in high school, we had to get a new septic tank, and my parents couldn't find it anywhere because the records were awful. So they ended up getting a hold of the son of the original owners. He was a million years old. He told my parents where the tank was, and he helped dig it out. My mom was like, "I have to ask, we've had some creepy stuff happen here, but whatever it is, it seems to like our family." She asked if the place was haunted, and according to my mom, when she asked him, his face turned white and blank. It was because his brothers hung himself as a teenager in the living room. The Spooky Summer Getaway from Cassidy. When I was younger, my two siblings and I would spend summer weekends away at my cousin's house. Their house was in the region that was pretty isolated and full of farmlands. I remembered one day, when I was maybe 8 or 9, it was particularly hot. Their house didn't have AC. While the temperatures cooled down at night, it was still uncomfortable. I was sleeping in my older cousin's room with my little sister, and I woke up in the middle of the night because it was too stuffy. I decided to go to sleep out in the living room. I had remembered that my aunt opened the windows and sliding glass door, so there was at least a breeze and circulation. I don't know how long I was asleep, but I remember waking up at seemed like seconds later. Before I opened my eyes, I had a feeling that someone was watching me. I was facing the couch, and when I finally opened my eyes, I saw a little girl sitting across from me. She wore a dress that looked like it was from the 1890s and was brushing her long, wavy hair. She was a bit transparent, but had a gold tint because of the street light, and that was shining in on her. I blinked, and she put down her brush in her lap, smiled at me, did a little wave, and mouthed hello. I immediately shut my eyes, shot up, and ran back to my cousin's room. I remember only being able to fall asleep because I convinced myself it didn't happen. When it was morning, I was the last one to wake up. I walked into the kitchen where everyone was already eating breakfast, and my older brother was in the middle of telling a story. Apparently, he had woken up in the middle of the night too. He had also gone to the living room and was woken up by the feeling that someone else was there too. He saw the same little girl and ran away just like I had. I freaked out and told him about my identical experience. A man is driving home late in the night when he spots a girl asking for a hitchhike. The pretty girl is dressed in a beautiful white dress. The man offers her a ride, and they strike up an interesting conversation. he drops the girl at her home. Next day, while driving from work, he notices that the girl by accident has forgotten her sweater in his car. He drives toward her home and hand over the sweater. An old lady opens the door when he rings the bell. He narrates that the incident which occurred last night and gives the sweater to the lady. The lady refuses to accept it, saying he is mistaken. The man is surprised and questions the lady again. He is dumbstruck when the lady says her daughter died in a car accident a couple of years ago.